Hey everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger Comic Book review. In this video, we are reviewing books that came out of Marvel Comics on the week of June 25th, 2014. There aren't that many books, guys, literally just a handful. We had a huge amount of DC, and next week I think it's more even, and the week after that's definitely more even. So, let's waste no time and jump right into it. DeadPool versus Carnage, issue 4 of 4.
Why? Oh, the last part? Oh, thank you, God.
I guess I was wrong.
What
I told you there was 5 issues. I guess I was wrong. There's only 4.
Oh. So, 4.
So, DeadPool now has all those symbiotes attached to him. And he goes after Carnage to end this once and for all. Carnage is still trying to prove to himself that the signs don't exist, that he's a free man and he does everything, you know, of his own free will. Then DeadPool attacks and Shriek gets caught in the middle of it. She freaks out because she thinks she shot DeadPool. She shot Carnage, but she didn't. She had originally shot DeadPool. The artwork is the only thing in this book that was pretty good, actually. The fight between Carnage and DeadPool was another awesome fight. However, Carnage is like, I'm free, and Deadpool's like, how do you know I didn't just lead you here? Yeah, I basically led you here, and you followed all the signs perfectly. And there were actually signs telling Carnage about Shriek. He didn't follow them, and he actually ends up killing Shriek. I love how they drew Shriek in this book, as a matter of fact. They drew her really well. And basically that's how DeadPool beat Carnage. He didn't even kill Carnage. Actually, DeadPool just disappears. He literally he disguises Shriek in his symbiote, and then once Carnage killed Shriek, he kind of sits himself in a cell and says he's not going to go anywhere until he's his own man again. And then he says, when I'm my own man again, I'm going to go kill Deadpool. And then Deadpool just sends the dog away with all the symbiotes back to the government. And then he's like, who's next? And we all know there's like 20 different Deadpool miniseries coming out in the next couple of months. So
Why?
I don't know, but I think this was just an excuse to throw Carnage out there one more time before the end of the year. Maybe we'll get another Carnage mini. I hope not. I mean, I'm not...
I was just saying, I'm not hating on Deadpool. I'm just saying there's just... They're overdoing it too much. They one after another after another. I mean, just give them
when
a break.
people stop buying them.
Well, I'm just saying they should give Deadpool a break. The Marvel company should. That's all I'm saying.
When people stop reading it, that's when they'll start doing it. This is the last Deadpool mini I'm reading. I mean, there's Deadpool versus Hawkeye, Deadpool versus X-Force. I know Mike Spider-Slayer is jumping into the Deadpool versus
X-Force.
X-Force.
Yeah.
I'm not. They never end good. Even this book kind of ended very mediocre to eh. So anyway, could you go lower that a little bit while I talk about this book real quick? Because I think the TV just spiked up a little bit in the background. New Warriors issue number 6. I'm 50-50 with the series. I'm enjoying it, but at the same time, I don't know. So that mountain, it's now in New York Harbor, and it turns out there's this demon going around, and he is in this mountain, or some type of it's a demon. The Avengers see the mountain, they assemble at the mountain, and Justice and Speedball go to Avengers Tower. There are these other Inhumans that are searching for other Inhumans in New York, basically Mark. So anyway, Justice and Speedball are at Avengers Tower, and Cap and Iron Man aren't so happy that the New Warriors are back together. They kind of try to convince Justice and Speedball to have their team fold into the Avengers and not have the New Warriors because of what happened in Stamford. And I love how Justice is like, we're never going to live down Stamford. We understand that it's a blemish on the New Warriors' name, that it's never going to go away. But you know what? Here, he throws his ID on the table and says, I quit. We're leaving the Avengers. I'm not an Avenger anymore. I'm no longer an Avenger. I'm a warrior. And basically he tells Cap, we're not folding into your team. We're the New Warriors, and we're going to remain the New Warriors, and that's it. And while this is going on, this demon goes into oh god, I want to say her name right. Water Snake's, or yeah, head, and makes her see Thor as a demon, and Thor starts to see her as a demon as well. And this is just gigantic fight that breaks out, and then finally Hummingbird, what's her name, Arsley, reaches into Water Snake and then reveals the demon for who he is, and then she actually fights him as whatever, this long name, the demon that's within her, or the god that's within her.
Huitzilopochtli. I don't even know. I gotta stop hurting myself with these names.
So she blacked out because she was basically taken over. I have a feeling that what we thought was going to happen in Scarlet Spider is just going to happen in New Warriors. And the demon gets destroyed. And by the time the Avengers and Justice and Speedball make it back to the mountain because they saw Thor's lightning from his hammer, the New Warriors and Thor are celebrating. So later on, the mountain obviously leaves New York. That's right. the main problem, and it's gone. So then they take Mark home, and it turns out that the Inhumans that were looking for Mark are there. There's a huge explosion, to be continued. Again, this book is okay. I don't know. I'm going to continue it for a little while longer, but if the story continues to make me feel even though Scarlet Spider's in it, I'll probably end up dropping it just because there's a lot of stuff coming our way very soon. And you're doing Wolverine. I don't know if you're going to do Death of Wolverine in September, but...
I don't know, but actually, this is my book of the week, the 3 Months to Die Wolverine issue number 9. This book actually...
I just decided to give it to Mike because I still didn't get a chance to
read
that one.
Also because Shang-Chi and Iron Fist was in it, but it's not really that. The story was just, you know, really... Like, basically, Wolverine goes into the temple... While Shang-Chi and Daniel known as Iron Fist are facing the ninjas that came in, and what they want to do is that they want to hold them off so they don't go into the temple to destroy Wolverine's thing of getting over fear, because that's what Wolverine wants to get over. So it goes to Sabretooth, where I knew I couldn't trust that guy in the last issue. He showed Sabretooth how to use the cube, which isn't really, like I saw that coming. Artwork looks really great though. And basically Wolverine has a long talk with, I guess, Death or something. And he just talks about him knowing like who he is and how he became who he is. And he's just showing... You know, the people that he killed in the past. And by the way, Dawkins alive still.
Yeah, I know.
Wolverine. And they call him James, and I was asking Chris why they called him James. Something about the amnesia thing that happened. So we get Rose, who appears because he's giving him the people he's killed in the past while they're still fighting the ninjas. One of the two ninjas actually escape their attack to go into the temple, and him and Rose have like not such a good conversation. And meanwhile, Sabretooth is you know, doing something else. If you want to read that, you can definitely see in the comic book. So Wolverine proves that he still cares for Rose because of the tattoo and everything, and since the ninjas came in, thus ruined the concentration. But the Dead said, like, don't kill the ninjas, like, just fight them. So with that, Fuel actually comes into this comic issue and tells Wolverine about what Sabretooth is doing, and thus he overcomes his fear and somewhat, and he wears the mask once again in that. So after that, he didn't see... You know, like, the ninjas were gone because obviously they both took care of them, and Wolverine thanks Shang-Chi, saying, you know, that he's looking for a new star and he knows what he's got to do. Go after Sabretooth and save Pinch, along with making things right. So Sabretooth gets a sign of I'll have you one day, darling, knowing that Logan has returned from... He calls him Logan still. So with him being still alive, he's going to remake some other stuff, and where's it going to be in? New York City. So there's going to be last Wolverine story in the next issue, from what it says, to be continued on. But oh man, what a huge cliffhanger to be continued. I can't wait to read the next issue to see how all this is going to turn out and everything.
So, Fantastic Four, issue number 6. Now we are connected with Original Sin. The end of the book mostly is connected with Original Sin. The beginning is still coming out of what happened in the previous issue. The Fantastic Four try to go back to the Baxter building. Well, Sue and Reed do. What happens is the Thing kind of decides Ben goes home on it, or walks on his own. So Sue and Reed show up at the Baxter building, and they're confronted by the Avengers, who basically say that Reed and Sue aren't even allowed in the building anymore. And Sue's like, well, what about our stuff? Can't we at least get our stuff? And they're like, they're going to forward, they say, well, they're going to look through your stuff and they'll forward all your stuff to your new location. And Sue just loses it and gets into this humongous fight with the Avengers. There's a scene with the kids, I'm skipping that, and then we go to 2 days later, which is where Original Sin begins. The Thing shows up at Johnny's door and confronts Johnny. He's like, I know the truth, I know what you and Reed did, don't call me friend anymore. And Johnny tells him, come in, let's talk. What are you talking about? And he talks about what happened during Original Sin, where the eyeball and everything with the orb. And then he said, I got a memory, but the memory wasn't mine, it was yours. Sorry about that, guys. Camera decided to die, so we switched over. Anyway, continuing with Fantastic Four. So Ben found out what we got to see a flashback with Ben during Original Sin with the orb. Then we get a new artist, and I want to get the name of the artist now that we started over again. It says Leonard Kirk's pencils for both. Oh, Original Sin flashback is done by Dean Haspiel and Nolan Woodard.
Yeah.
Hopefully I said the name right. But anyway, the Original Sin, we don't know what it is yet. All we know is that Reed promised Ben that he's found a way to cure him of the Thing, and Johnny was there as well to help out with the process. The machine starts to work, he becomes human again, and then, spoiler alert here, everything goes haywire. And that's where the book ends. Right there. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Ben didn't remember this until that very moment, or if there was something else connected to that moment that Ben didn't know about. So really strong book. I feel so bad for what's going on to Reed and Sue, especially Sue, because Sue is taking this very hard. Very, very hard. And it's weird to see, you know, they're thrown out of the Baxter building, they're no longer there, they lost the children, and just a bunch of stuff's happening bad to the Fantastic Four, and we're only 6 issues in. It's crazy.
Alright, a new series that I started to read, Hulk vs. Iron Man issue #1, Original Sin.
Original Sin 3.1.
Yeah. I don't know whether to think good or bad about this book because it's the first issue of this series, but I felt this more to be like, not really Hulk versus Wolverine, like, I mean, Hulk versus Iron Man. Wow, why isn't Wolverine very good? Like, there was a fight scene in the beginning of the book, and the artwork was like really drawn nicely for like about 3 panels, and that was basically it. Because then it goes to years ago where they were science bros with each other, and the Gamma Warhead he went on to design and all that other stuff, where you know, basically one didn't want to be smarter than the other one. And then when the truth bomb hit, Tony Stark...
Not the truth bomb, the orb released the Watcher's Eye.
Oh, well, he said the truth bomb.
Well, truth bomb.
Well, the orb, yeah. When he released that, it was Iron Man that actually had Bruce, the Hulk's memory of what he went through. So there was like a bit of a mix-up of
a brain swap.
A brain swap with the memories and stuff like that. And then it just goes back years ago again, where Bruce is talking about the gamma bomb test and you know, everything else, and you know, it was kind of boring. And then when Tony Stark came in, you know, him and Bruce were going into a little bit of a you know, bad terms with each other after a little while going into the other stuff. I mean, you create more for yourself because it's like a huge dialogue. And then at Avengers Tower, when Tony Stark wakes up, he you know, he goes to like, he sees like he's seeing things basically, like I guess like General Ross and Rick Jones that he sees, and he does snap out of it, but he just wants to know where the Hulk went, and just to see what else is going on. And then Bruce Banner, when he gets into the secret into the lab, he's like saying, you know, it's proof positive that belongs to someone else. If it's not my memories, Tony Stark, my friend, you sabotaged the gamma bomb, and you made me into the Hulk. To be continued. So I put this book down, and I'm like, I don't know.
It's set up.
It's a setup, yeah, but it doesn't seem like a Hulk versus Iron Man comic book. It felt like a brief scene, and then it went back years ago with other stuff.
They did lots of flashbacks.
Yeah, this isn't supposed to. I don't even know if it was necessary or anything. Now, the part where the orb set out the whole bomb thing with the swiping, that was necessary. The whole other thing with the flashback of what happened wasn't really necessary. So maybe it's a setup to some, but if this keeps going on, I'm not gonna buy it no more.
It was definitely set up.
But we'll see if it gets better in the next issue.
Amazing Spider-Man issue number 3. So many characters just seem out of place. Black Cat being a major one. We talked about this on the live show as well. Mary Jane didn't even give a crap about Spider-Man at all in this book. But we'll get to that. Anyway, let's go through the book in a whole. Now, Black Cat wants revenge for what we get a little tidbit about Silk at the beginning of this book. So, for those of you that are interested, you'll watch that. So, Black Cat wants her revenge now on Spider-Man. And, what's his name? Electro is still being haunted by the memories of Doc Ock's Spider-Man. You got Pete on the job. There's a fire that breaks out. Pete jumps into Spider-Man. I left a bunch of stuff out. J. Jonah Jameson gets a job offer to be for his own talk show. So he gets that, and he has this like evil grin. All he needs, I agree with Mike Spider, there is a cigar back in his mouth.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's there, saving the day as always. Black Cat shows up, and this humongous fight breaks out. And Spider-Man's trying to explain to her it wasn't him. He was under Doc Ock's control, and it's like, it doesn't matter. You have to be an example then. And then, I don't know how Pete did it, but he broke out this horrible Doc Ock impersonation. He even said the die is cast, and I'm like, God, no.
Oh,
we just got rid of that. Don't start saying that again. Black Cat kind of freaks out. I don't know why she freaks out, but she runs away, and she's like, I'm going to even up the odds before we're done. And she disappears. Spidey saves Ollie, who's the fireman that Mary Jane's dating. And she just ignores Spider-Man, runs right to him. And Pete just disappears completely from the picture. And she doesn't even care. She's not even like, where'd Spider-Man go? So, and then we got Black Cat confronting Electro, saying, we both, together, we can destroy the spider. Or end the spider. And I'm like, that's so not Black Cat. You know, everybody else believed that Spider-Man was taken over by Doc Ock. Now, all of a sudden, Black Cat has something to prove, and she doesn't care that everybody else understands. She's the only one. Even MJ was out of character. I don't know. A lot of characters were just out of character here. And, I don't know. It's going to be weird to see the new outlook with Black Cat. I mean, maybe they'll undo it at some point, or they'll move forward with it at some point where they'll jump over this. But I don't know. I don't like MJ right now, that's for sure. But Black Cat's just very out of character, and you would think that she'd believe Spiderman, but of course, you know, her pride was hurt, so she doesn't give a crap. She just wants to make an example of Spider-Man, which I feel bad for Pete for in the future. Finally, this week, Guardians of the Galaxy issue 15. This was awesome. All the Guardians are in very bad situations. You have Drax, who's on trial, and he keeps challenging Gladiator, who doesn't answer him. You have Flash Thompson, who's had the symbiote taken away from him, and now the Kree are trying to acquire it for themselves. Gamora's getting the snot beaten out of her, and then out of nowhere, guess who shows up? Angela! And she saves Gamora, so finally the Guardians' luck starts to change. Peter Quill, the last time we saw him, he was jumping out of a building, but he was saved by Captain Marvel. And I don't know why, but the press on Spartax thought it would be a great idea to be recording the whole thing. And basically, the artwork does change midway through, which was weird to see like how the artwork changed a bit. But anyway, Pete comes face to face with his father, who doesn't realize the camera's on. So Pete basically reveals his father for the dirty, double-crossing, dark, what was the word he used? The horror that he was. So the world now sees him for who he is, and Pete just continues to go on. And Rocket, the only one that's being held captive, he gets released because basically they got all the information they wanted. They said basically just put him back together and let him go. So Peter is so close to shooting his father right now. He's like, you're the reason why all this bad stuff's going on. You know, we've had to save so many people from you. And then the father actually says his one regret is when the Kree attacked and tried to kill him. His only regret is he didn't die there too. And he's like, you shouldn't have said that about me and my mom being killed. But he came this close, but in the end, Captain Marvel and him end up leaving. So he chooses not to kill his father, which is very heroic. But the people who saw the whole thing are now saying death to the Emperor. So things aren't going good for Jason either. Long story short, Flash gets his symbiote back, and Drax gets what he wants. He challenges Gladiator, and Gladiator finally accepts. So Pete still doesn't know where the Guardians are. He asks his father. His father refuses to answer. He's like, the Guardians are no more. They're done. And he refuses to tell Pete where they are. But I have a feeling Pete's going to find them one by one anyway in the next issue. This was a very, very, very good issue. Awesome issue. Actually, in this issue, I think they definitely foreshadow things to come, because Pete says, once I get the Guardians back together, we're coming back and putting an end to my father once and for all. So either it's a definite future story for the Guardians of the Galaxy, or possibly a cosmic event even. I'm hoping for a cosmic event involving the Guardians and whoever else versus Jason, and just take him out as the Emperor of Spartax once and for all. That would be a spectacular event. I would read everything in that. Even if not, if it's just in Guardians of the Galaxy, I will absolutely be reading it. This was an excellent, excellent book this week. And that's all we got from Marvel this week, guys. So, once again, don't forget to check out Comic Related, Comic Frontline, and Zone4Podcast.com. Together, we're your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Apologies, everything's late this week. It's going to be late. There's nothing we really can do. It's been a busy week, but hopefully we'll catch up one day soon.
And happy July 4th.
Happy early 4th of July. Look forward to the, the intro video to Street Fighter Summer coming up next after all these videos go up. And then after that, look forward to It's a Podcast episode 11, where we're going to be talking mostly about Street Fighter. Anyway, until then, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Later, everybody.